Well, thank you very much. I'm Tom Rust. I'm finishing my 6th term in the House of Delegates. I'm a civil engineer, a business owner, and I think both of those things have helped me in the General Assembly. Jennifer, thank you for the very kind comments. I don't move around much. I live in Herndon. I've been in the same house for 36 years, so that's a little unusual. Let me tell you a little bit about my experience. I was the mayor of Herndon for a long time. During that period, I built the municipal center downtown. Also with Fairfax County, joined with them in doing the library. I did the community center. I did the senior housing. I did the golf course. I did all the recreational facilities around the community center. I mentioned that, and I will come back to it. The second thing that I did before I came to the General Assembly was be active in higher education. I was on the Board of Visitors for Longwood College for 8 years. 7 of those years I was director, which is a fancy word for chairman. I was also on the Virginia Tech Board of Visitors for 6 years. I did resign from that to go into the General Assembly, and I was the vice rector of that, even in line to be rector of the Board of Visitors. I mentioned those two things. If you look at my records, you will see I have been involved a lot in infrastructure, which is what I talked about in Herndon, and higher education, which I've talked about at both Tech and Longwood. In the General Assembly, I'm on 4 committees, fairly unusual for a member to have 4 committees. Transportation, Education, Commerce and Labor, and Science and Technology. I'm also the co-chair with Senator Holden from Prince William County of the Northern Virginia Delegation. I also chair JCOT's Joint Commission on Technology and Science. And as of today, I'm the ranking majority member of 2 of those 4 committees. The experience counts in the Virginia General Assembly. It really does count. Let me tell you a little bit about my accomplishments, and the clock just died on me. Let me talk a little bit about things I've done in the General Assembly. I mentioned education. I worked with the governor on the Top Jobs 21 legislation, which set the goal of 100,000 new degrees by 2025, kept tuition low for the last 2 years, been the lowest in the decade. I did the dual enrollment deal, which you're going to hear a lot about. A lot of kids are doing dual enrollment in high school and in the community college system. Very interested in STEM, which TJ21 talked a lot about. The articulation agreements, which I hope we get to talk about. All those things have helped our kids get through higher education quicker and cheaper. Transportation, I look around the room, I see a lot of people that come every year. That's what we always talk about is transportation. This year, we did the landmark transportation bill in 2013, which I was a patron of, and with Delegate Lamunion and others wrote the Northern Virginia portion of that bill, which in essence says money raised in Northern Virginia stays in Northern Virginia and is spent in Northern Virginia on projects picked by Northern Virginians. K through 12, again, reading specialists. If you cannot properly read by the 3rd grade, you're in trouble. So we put additional resources into reading. Delegate Lamunion did the algebra readiness, which is also critical for STEM. As Patrice said earlier, we just were ranked about 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4th best in the nation's system, K through 12. I'm very proud to say we're also number 1 in the nation in higher education. We did a 2% raise for our teachers this year. Jobs and economy, I am running out of time. I'll just be very, very brief. Forbes rated us number 1 today, best state to do business in, and the reasons for it, I'm convinced the transportation bill that we did, which again I was a patron of, the tort reform, which I hope we talk about, was a part of it, and right to work. We strengthened the right to work laws. What I'm going to work on in 2014 is getting STEM education in partnership with community colleges down to the 5th, 6th, and 7th grades, with particular emphasis on women and minorities. Thank you for listening. I look forward to working with you, and I look forward to answering your questions as we go forth. And I have 6 seconds left. Thanks a lot.